My name is Bart Anderson. I live here in Palo Alto. I'm associated with Transition Palo Alto, Transition Silicon Valley, and I'm also editor of a website called Energy Bulletin.
And what is your background?
I'm a high school teacher, I'm a newspaper reporter and editor, and I was a technical writer for Hewlett Packard for about 25 years.
And how did you hear about the transition movement?
Well, I'd been an editor of Energy Bulletin, a volunteer editor full-time for the last 6 years. And so we'd been looking into the energy issues. Peak oil, that is the time when oil production starts to go down and oil starts to get increasingly expensive, what it means for society. And so we were covering the problems, and people said, you know, this is really depressing. Give us a few answers or something we can do. So we were trying to follow those, and there weren't very many things that were very encouraging. About 5 years ago, a group in England started something called Transition Towns, which seemed to be one of the most positive, most fun, and productive ways of dealing with the thing. So I've been covering it for about 4 or 5 years. It's getting more and more publicity, including this issue of Yes Magazine is almost entirely devoted to it. So at the beginning of this year, I was getting burned out from being behind the computer, and I wanted to be with regular people that we could talk with face to face. And so I and some other people started Transition Palo Alto. We met up with other people that are doing it, and it's really snowballed since then.
Yeah, it is snowballing, isn't it? Just in the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
The transition movement, which became Transition US,
Yeah.
and then Transition California.
Exactly.
Transition Silicon Valley, now Transition Palo Alto.
Yeah.
It's very
What's wonderful is that we can often, the way we start out is in a book group studying the Transition Handbook. And at the beginning, people come and it's like people off the street, we're a little suspicious and a little cool with each other. But the transformation that people go through as they learn about these things and they see that there's something that they can do, and it's magic what happens to people.
And tell us a little bit, because a big part of the transition philosophy is about reskilling.
Uh-huh.
Can you explain a little bit about what reskilling is and why it's important, especially right now?
Okay, reskilling is one of several areas that are really important. It's obviously it's very hands-on, which people love. And the idea is that as oil becomes more expensive and there are other constraints on energy use, the kind of skills that we have right now, like marketing, for example, is not going to be quite as in demand. And other things that we thought were obsolete, like using our hand skills. One of the most important things, I think, is being able to prepare food from scratch at home. Skills that have in large part disappeared. And so the idea is to get people from the community to share their skills again. So that's reskilling in a nutshell.
And a lot of us have become so disconnected.
Exactly.
From our food sources, growing food, from preparing food, like you said, but also other things too, whether it be felting or sewing or jarring food or.
And the thing is, and they're fun to do. One of our members, he works in landscaping, gardening, and so he's been using a scythe. And there's a whole culture around scythes. So he showed us how to sharpen it, and he's really fit now. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's different, but yet it's ancient, or it's
Yeah, and
indigenous knowing.
One of the key things is the idea of honoring the elders. I'm getting to be an elder myself, but the idea is that people in the community have a lot of these skills and this knowledge, and part of what we need to do is unlock that. And especially in this area here, it's exciting because we have people from all different countries and cultures, and when you get them talking about how they prepare food or some of their skills, they get excited, and it's exciting for everybody else too.
Wonderful. So what do you foresee for Transition Palo Alto, for example? What do you foresee for that movement in the next year, 2 years, 5 years?
It's so hard to say because 6 months ago we had no idea that things would grow this fast. I think what we'd like to see is having more people knowledgeable about what the basic concepts are, and then starting to do things themselves. So one thing that just came out of the blue, one woman in a group said, "Why isn't there a garden swap here in Palo Alto, where you bring your produce from your garden, like your zucchini or your apples, come and trade it?" And so 6 weeks ago, we had the first one. We've had 3 since. We connected together with Slow Food, and now they're planned for all over this area, unlocking people's ideas and enthusiasms to do things like this.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay, great.